Lakers News Fan Report. Have you ever imagined being an up-and-coming star, playing alongside the biggest names in NBA history, and suddenly finding yourself trapped by an invisible enemy, an enemy no one can predict or avoid? That enemy is the body itself, the vital instrument of an athlete, which, when it fails, can shatter even the grandest plans. What happens when a team's greatest dreams start to crumble, not from external forces, but from internal limitations? The Los Angeles Lakers are in a state of crisis. And it's not just any crisis. We're not talking about a simple stumble against stronger opponents, nor a series of losses that fade over time. No, what the Lakers are facing goes far beyond external issues. They are dealing with a much deeper affliction, something hiding in the joints and backs of their star players. The team is on a painful losing streak, with 2 consecutive defeats marked by absences and serious injuries. If that weren't enough, the Lakers now face an even greater dilemma. How can they fight for a title when their stars' bodies are failing them? At the center of this storm is Luca Doncic. The young prodigy, an acquisition that seemed to be the key to the team's immediate success, is now facing a problem that could change the course of his career, as well as the Lakers' future. Luca joined the Lakers with a clear mission: to be the leader alongside LeBron James, a player with the power to turn any team into a contender. But the reality is different. Instead of shining on the court, Luca has been forced to fight against a silent, invisible enemy, a back injury that started as something seemingly minor, but quickly turned into debilitating pain. The first sign that something was wrong came in the losses to the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets, when Luca was far from his best performance. His numbers were directly impacted by the pain he was trying to hide, pain that affected his mobility and shooting. With only 19 field goals made out of 48 attempts and 5 turnovers in each game, Luca clearly wasn't playing with the intensity and fluidity that usually defines him. Every mistake seemed like another reflection of his growing pain, and every shot attempt was another battle against his own physical condition. When Luca was asked about what was happening, he tried to downplay the severity of the injury, saying with a forced smile that he was fine. But the signs on the court spoke for themselves. The pain wasn't only visible to the spectators, but to those on the court with him. Luca was grimacing in pain and limping at various moments, clearly affected by the impact of a hard fall against the New York Knicks the previous Thursday. Luca's back injury was becoming an ever-present shadow, affecting his ability to lead the team as he normally would. But the worst was yet to come. From the moment Luca's back pain began to intensify, it became clear he could no longer be the dominant player the Lakers so desperately needed. And from then on, it wasn't just a question of skill, but physical endurance. Luca was undoubtedly playing through pain, but how much longer could he continue? When an elite player begins to be taken down by a physical problem, the question isn't whether he will recover, but when he will recover. And more importantly, what does this mean for the Lakers? The answer came with an analysis by Jovan Buha, a journalist from The Athletic, who, in a podcast, described Luca's situation with a frankness that only heightened the concerns of the fans. According to Buha, Luca's injury wasn't something new, but a continuation of a problem that had worsened over time. Luca clearly isn't well. He has a back injury that was aggravated in the game against the Knicks, and this became a significant factor in the following games, including against the Celtics and Nets. He can't hide it, and it's visibly affecting his performance, Buha said. He also explained that Luca wasn't just struggling to move, but was also having trouble with his posture and positioning on the court, something crucial for a player with his agility and court vision. This type of injury isn't just a momentary annoyance. It's a condition that could take weeks, if not months, to fully recover from. For a player like Luca, who relies so much on explosive movement and agility to create plays and opportunities, a back injury poses a risk of compromising not just his season, but the future of the franchise. Every day Luca stays on the court, he is risking his full recovery, and that is something the Lakers cannot afford to ignore. And as the Lakers deal with this dramatic situation, another big name from the franchise is also sidelined: LeBron James. The team's biggest star, known for his ability to carry teams on his back and being the undisputed leader, is also dealing with an injury, and now he'll be out for longer than originally expected. LeBron, who has always been the pillar of stability for the Lakers, now finds himself away from the court while Luca struggles to keep the team alive. The team's dynamics have been completely shaken, and the future of the season now seems uncertain. But the Lakers' problems don't end there. Rui Hachimura, one of the team's promising players, is also dealing with an injury that has kept him out for a considerable amount of time. He will be reevaluated at the end of this week, but there are no guarantees as to when he will be fully recovered. Other players like Jackson Hayes and Dorian Finney-Smith are also dealing with injuries, which only adds more uncertainty to a team already facing difficulties. With so many injuries and so few options available, the Lakers find themselves in a situation where, more than ever, they need an immediate and effective response. This includes the development of secondary players like Austin Reeves, who needs to step up to cover for the absence of their stars, or even the use of tactical alternatives that can minimize the absence of LeBron and Luca. But deep down, the reality is that no player can replace the impact of a healthy star like Luca or LeBron. Additionally, the schedule doesn't forgive. The Lakers have two extremely challenging games ahead against the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets. Both teams are title contenders, and without Luca and LeBron at their best, the task of defeating these teams becomes even more daunting. The team will need to reinvent itself, perhaps even taking risks with a more defensive strategy, if they want to minimize the damage and stay competitive in the coming games. The Lakers' front office is also under intense scrutiny. With the team's playoff hopes hanging by a thread, they must consider every available option to improve the roster. Do they make a trade to acquire a proven star to fill the void left by LeBron and Luca? Or do they stay the course, hoping that their injured players will return to form in time? Either way, the stakes are incredibly high. A poor decision could jeopardize not only the season, but the future of the franchise. Despite the growing challenges, the Lakers have some promising young talent. Players like D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura have shown moments of brilliance this season, but they need to take their game to the next level. Now is the time for them to prove that they can be counted on in crunch-time situations. The Lakers need their young players to not only fill in the gaps, but to be catalysts for success during this difficult stretch. However, even with the rise of new contributors, the Lakers are facing a tough reality. The road to the NBA Finals doesn't get any easier when your best players are sidelined. Teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Denver Nuggets won't let up. In fact, they are only becoming more formidable. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jokic have been playing at an MVP level, and both teams have strong playoff pedigrees. The Lakers are facing an uphill battle, and they need to dig deep if they hope to remain competitive. With the playoff picture getting tighter by the day, the Lakers are under immense pressure. The West is stacked with talent, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Every game counts. Every win or loss could significantly impact their seeding, and ultimately, their chances of making it out of the first round. The Lakers can't afford to fall too far behind, or their playoff hopes may slip away entirely. The key to the Lakers' survival lies in how they adapt without their stars. They can no longer rely solely on individual brilliance. The Lakers need to embrace a more team-oriented approach. They need to tighten up their defense, share the ball, and most importantly, maintain a level of cohesion that keeps them competitive even in the face of adversity. The injuries have exposed some cracks in their game, but they also offer an opportunity for growth. It's also critical for head coach Darvin Ham to adjust his tactics. The Lakers can't afford to continue running the same offense that worked when LeBron and Luca were healthy. Ham will need to get creative and find ways to make the most of the talent currently at his disposal. Whether it's emphasizing ball movement, creating more open looks for shooters, or focusing on a more structured defense, the coach will need to find the right balance to keep the team in the hunt. One of the biggest tests for the Lakers will be their mental toughness. Overcoming adversity is a hallmark of championship teams, and this season, the Lakers are being tested like never before. Can they keep their heads high when the odds are stacked against them? Will they rally together and prove that the sum of their parts is greater than the individual stars they're missing? The next few weeks will determine the answer to that question. In the meantime, fans are left wondering how much longer they can hold on to their hopes of a deep playoff run. The Lakers faithful have been through a lot over the years, but this season feels different. The championship aspirations that once seemed so attainable now seem further out of reach. If the team can't find a way to play through the injuries, the dream of a title could slip away. At this point, the Lakers' season seems like a thin line between recovery and collapse. They currently occupy third place in the Western Conference with a record of 40-23, respectable, but that position could quickly fade if the team doesn't find a balance between the recovery of its players and the development of others. The risk of falling to lower spots in the standings is real, and that could affect not just their playoff position, but also their confidence and morale. The big question now is, can the Lakers remain competitive without Luca and LeBron at their best? The season that started with so many expectations is now threatened by a whirlwind of injuries and uncertainties. The combination of Luca's back injury and LeBron's absence could be fatal to the team's championship aspirations this season. Now, we want to hear from you, Lakers fans. How do you think the team should handle this injury crisis? Do you believe Luca and LeBron can recover in time to help the team reach the top? Or do you think the Lakers will need a dramatic turnaround to survive this injury storm? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you haven't followed Lakers News Fan Report yet, make sure to do so now to stay updated on the Lakers season.